Alert weather with Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Perez.
All right, welcome back on this Thursday morning. So we've issued first alert weather days for Friday, Saturday, as well as on Sunday due to the system coming in, bringing in potentially some dangerous icy conditions. So it is for the entire UP that we've issued the first alert weather days for those 3 days. Here's what's going to happen. We will likely have icy conditions tomorrow evening through Saturday morning, and that could make travel dangerous on untreated surfaces. We will eventually have more sloppy conditions as we head into Sunday. So here's what we can expect. Friday into Saturday, there's the round of freezing rain and rain that could also mix in with sleet at times by tomorrow evening, and that's what's going to cause those icy conditions. Then on Sunday, the second round will be a wintry mixture initially before it transitions over to this wet, heavy snow. So in the meantime, the National Weather Service office has gone ahead and issued winter storm watches for the entire UP for tomorrow extending through Saturday morning. Again, high risk for that freezing rain and sleet potential along with heavy snow. I said a lower risk for strong winds. The impacts include icy, sloppy road conditions, the potential of power outages due to the weight of ice accumulation that could occur. And at least we don't have to worry too much about the potential of blowing snow with poor visibility by the time the system starts to taper off on Sunday. But as far as ice accumulation, our in-house models showing at least a glaze of ice to less than 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation for the southern UP. However, the northern UP will have ranges of around at least 1/4 of an inch of ice to 1/2 of an inch of ice, and even some isolated areas pushing close to about an inch of ice accumulation. Now, this is for Friday extending into Saturday evening, span of those 24 to 36 hours. Here's the timeline. It's really all dependent on temperatures. So that freezing rain moves in tomorrow afternoon, extending into the evening hours. Will include some rain as well. And then tomorrow evening, a little sleet will mix in, continuing with that wintry mixture Friday night into Saturday morning. Take a look. Most of that pushing out for round one. Saturday morning, that's when you'll have very potentially icy conditions. There's going to be a lull that happens where we have some drier conditions throughout the day on Saturday before round two comes in for Saturday evening into Sunday. Initially a mix and then some snow. Here's the tricky situation with this setup, okay? We have a lot of Gulf moisture that's coming up to the upper Midwest. We also have a very deep layer of warm air, and that's what will yield the freezing rain. Here's the breakdown. Initially, it starts off in the upper levels of the atmosphere as ice crystals and snowflakes, and that big, deep layer of warmer air will allow those snowflakes and ice crystals to completely melt. However, the problem is here at the surface, our temperatures will be hovering around freezing. So that liquid precipitation will eventually freeze on contact on untreated surfaces. All right, so that's the big issue with this system. The second round, round two of precipitation, comes as a mix tomorrow, Saturday evening into Sunday morning. Then there's a transition to accumulating snow. The big question mark right now is the track of this storm system. There's still a lot of inconsistencies with this track on if it's going to shift farther north or farther south. That impacts how much snowfall we're likely going to get on Sunday. And remember, we're at least 3 days out from Sunday, so we don't have those fine out details on exactly how much snow we're expecting or where the heavy snowfall is going to be at. For example, here's the GFS model showing a lot of that snowfall accumulation across the southern UP as compared to the European model, which is showing mainly across our northern areas. Again, very dependent on the track of this system, and that's still the big question mark right now for Sunday. In the meantime, today's the day to prepare for this system. We're starting off with quiet conditions, some clear skies and some sunshine. Temperatures expected to top off into the 40s in our interior areas, and along the Wisconsin state line is where it will be the warmest. In the meantime, again, a reminder, first alert weather days for Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday.